Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today we have finally the long-awaited interview with Last Bacon. Last time I tried to do this, the footage got corrupted and I couldn't recover the hard drive, so Bacon's here on the line, so say hello Bacon.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
Perfect, everything's working this time. So yeah, it's just normal interview, gotta ask you a bunch of questions, and I'll break it up into segments for recording purposes and so that I don't lose all the files this time if I lose it.
Awesome. Sounds like a plan.
Okay, so I think the first things first, I'll start off very broadly. What Steam game do you have the most hours in?
What Steam game? I think that would have to be Warframe.
It's probably around 1100 hours in Warframe,
Jeez.
and then Skyrim.
Skyrim will probably be close second with around 1,000 hours as well.
Yeah, I know games like Warframe and Destiny are really hard not to get addicted to. I myself have nearly 1,000 hours in Destiny too.
So you understand the
Yeah,
because the grind is never ending. You can
100%.
always grind for something else.
Yeah, except I gotta pay like a kidney's worth for the DLCs.
That's true with Destiny. That's true.
Yeah, it's annoying. So how old were you when you were starting content creation?
So when I first started on YouTube, I would have been 19.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just after I had kind of moved out for university, and I was just looking for a hobby to do after school. So
Yeah, you never.
That's why I started.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of my friends who do like YouTube casually, they were like, "Oh yeah, I started doing it as like a hobby, then I started to gradually do it more and more, and then they upload a bit more consistently now."
yeah, that was pretty similar with me. I mean, for me, I kind of started very consistently. I was doing basically daily uploads for a while.
But it was very unfocused. I was just doing let's plays for like
Yeah.
random games
Had
found and just
had
whatever.
to
was
find your
fun.
style yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So did you always imagine yourself doing Subnautica videos?
No, not at all. I mean, I loved Subnautica as a concept when I first saw it, and I played it on the channel during the early access period a bit, but those videos hadn't really taken off back then. It actually took probably like a half a year for those videos to start getting some traction. And even when I had already made some of the lore videos, those weren't like super popular either. So it was only once those started taking off that I kind of slowly pivoted to Subnautica.
Yeah, I remember discovering your channel from the lore videos. I'm big into like video game lore, and I was like, oh my god, a channel that gives me the lore? Hell yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was a bit like I've always been super curious about the lore of these kinds of things, and I didn't see anybody else doing it for Subnautica, so kind of picked it up from there.
Especially with a team as devoted as Unknown World to their background storytelling, you can tell that they really did give a lot of thought into the lore. And I believe that they're
Oh,
very,
absolutely.
I believe that they're very appreciative that when people pick apart the lore.
For sure. And I mean, I can even speak on that as a game dev myself, that it's amazing when you see the community do that.
Oh, alright. So what would you say is your favorite series of all time? Like games or movies?
Ooh. For movies, I would have to go with Lord of the Rings. Absolutely love that. I love the books as well.
A lot of people I know love Lord of the Rings, yeah.
It's such a classic. I feel like it's so hard to go wrong with. I know it's not for everybody, but for me personally, it's got to be my favorite series. For games, it's a bit of a hard one. I really like the Stalker games. It's a bit niche, maybe. But I loved the original, and then also like the first 3 games, and now Stalker 2. I haven't really played yet, but I'm gearing up for it. The Elder Scrolls for sure. Oblivion is awesome. Skyrim is awesome.
I remember I was watching a video from the YouTuber Slimesicle. He was doing VR Skyrim, and he fell asleep in like the wrong bed, and it was like a modded playthrough, and he woke up in like a Mario world, and it was just utter insanity.
Yeah, I love that. It's the lengths that the Skyrim community has gone with the mods is like awe-inspiring. It's incredible.
Modding communities are just the best, man.
For sure. Massive respect to modders out there.
So, are you into other horror games like Subnautica?
It's funny that you called the horror game. I am big time into horror games. Pretty much any like big horror game that was around, in the last 10 years, I probably at least try to get my hands on. Love the Amnesia series, loved Outlasts. Alien Isolation has got to be one of my favorites. Right? I know they like to distinguish it as a terror game, so there is a small difference, but yeah, I mean, I think broadly speaking, you could put it into the horror game genre, and nobody would really bat an eye.
Yeah, with terror, it's more that lingering feeling instead of that like present danger,
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
So how would you say you stay consistent in your video styles?
I think it's taken me quite the long time to get to my own style. I mean, I was very much inspired by a lot of the kind of let's players of old. When I was growing up, I was watching like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and PewDiePie and all these people. And so I think I really took that style at the start and slowly kind of evolved to get some elements of my own, I suppose. And to be honest, I still try new stuff all the time. And sometimes something sticks and sometimes it doesn't. So it's like an always evolving thing, I would say.
Yeah, evolving your content is the best way to rake in new viewers and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say is your favorite lore tidbit in Subnautica?
Ooh, my favorite lore tidbit. It might be so there's a few. I love that the cuttlefish kind of has a bit of a mystery behind its sort of PDA entry.
Mm-hmm.
That I think there's a line, something along the lines of that. There's elements to it which might not be native to the planet. And I also love the one about ghost leviathans that don't ever stop growing. So there is the potential. Yeah, I think I'm not quite sure if this is in the PDA entry, but I swear this is a part of the lore. That ghost leviathans technically never stop growing, and so in theory, you could have one that's I don't know, as big as the gargantuan leviathan, maybe somewhere out there, at least as far as the lore is concerned. If we ignore Kara.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. I only recently learned that ghost leviathans weren't actual ghosts; they just have this transparent layer on them, and I was like, oh.
I mean, to be fair, they do look very otherworldly.
Very
so I get it.
spectre-y, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the craziest fan theory that you've ever heard in Subnautica?
Ooh. I mean, I feel like I've heard many. I absolutely love the one about the whole map being on the back of a reef bag.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a giant turtle.
Yeah, that's also a good one. I mean, it may be a bit difficult to explain like all the magma and stuff, but
yeah,
I love that idea. Yeah, that to me is brilliant.
That idea was always really reminiscent of the giant turtle from the It books, because I'm not sure if you've read the It books, but like the clown Pennywise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's like one of two like ancient beings, and the other one is like a giant turtle which vomited out the universe. It's really weird stuff.
That's Stephen King for you, I guess. Never read it, but I've heard that a lot of his stuff is just weird like that.
A lot of his books just describe the feeling of fear instead of just making you feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I love me some good like classical horror, but I'm more of a Hitchcock
fan myself.
Yeah. So what microphone do you use?
So right now I'm using the Shure SM7B, I think is the
Very
The
popular.
full name. It's a
Yeah, it's a very common one. I think you will see it in like half of all the YouTuber setups. It's very reliable. It's fairly easy to drive, and
I get the sense that it's very rugged. Like I could probably drop this thing from
Yeah.
like off my desk and it'd still be fine.
Yeah, it looks solid. It looks like good craftsmanship on it.
it's so heavy, it's like a brick. Like you could hurt someone with this thing. Yeah.
So if you were stuck in a zombie apocalypse, would you prioritize A, supplies, B, a place to live, or C, defense?
I guess that, I mean, if the ghost, if the zombie apocalypse had just broken out, probably defense and supplies to kind of.
If you want to go into specifics, it's like slow horde zombies with only like a few fast ones.
Right. So it's maybe like the Walking Dead.
I haven't watched The Walking Dead actually. I probably should.
Me neither, actually. I just played the Telltale games. So I base all of my knowledge on
They're
that.
good. They're really good.
They're amazing. Yeah.
I think at the very start, probably, gather supplies, because I mean you can like temporarily outrun those hordes in like a car or something for as long as you have like gas, and then as soon as possible find a fairly remote place and then just hunker down, big time defense, and wait out like the first couple of months.
Just live in a Costco.
And then see, that would be amazing, but I just feel like it would be so contested because like everybody would want the
100%.
big grocery
You
store.
have to divide it into 4 different segments. It's like over there we got the people who have the bathrooms. We gotta pay them food to enter.
yeah. I take the aisle with all the canned food.
So what are your opinions on Crocs?
I mean, look, they might not be the most visually appealing, perhaps, but they do have their uses, and specifically, from my personal experience, I like sailing.
On like
really?
on the sea. Yeah.
Oh.
I would go with my family sometimes.
And Crocs are actually not terrible wear when you're on a sailboat, so they do have some uses.
Yeah, you can also eat them.
That's a fair point.
So this next segment's gonna be more about YouTube and the industry. What would your dream video game be?
You mean to play? I mean, my favorite game of all time is probably The Witcher 3. So I would love to see a game that kind of takes that level of world building and that level of quest building and then packages it with even better gameplay. Because I think if The Witcher 3 has some shortcomings, it would have to be in the gameplay and how it gets repetitive, and the combat might not be the most satisfying. And so I think if you kind of took the good parts of that, which is like the narrative, the world building, the story, and the characters, and then you tied it up with like really, really good, satisfying, and evolving gameplay, that would probably be the best game I can think of.
Yeah, that's a fair point. A lot of games get repetitive. I play a lot of Spider-Man 2, and at some points I'm like, yeah, the gameplay's fun. I can kick people off buildings, but at what point do you just like want something a little bit fresher?
I wonder if that kind of if a reason why that happens is also because games have just gotten so long.
Yeah.
In terms of duration.
Yeah.
I swear, like back in the day, it used to be like the game would be over in like 6-7 hours, so it wouldn't even have the time to get repetitive. I feel like nowadays, since everything is like 60 hours plus, it's just easier for that to happen.
Yeah, I don't play a lot of like big games. Like I recently finished was it Devil May Cry 5, and I think that the game was a little bit too short, but I really could have kept going with all the gameplay options that were there. Like Jesus, that game was insanely fun.
No, I believe the Devil May Cry games are amazing.
Yeah. Speaking of The Witcher, actually, The Witcher 4, are you excited for that? And how do you feel about the developers moving from their own proprietary engine to Unreal Engine 5?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think so. I mean, I work with Unreal Engine 5 daily at my day job, and I think I'm excited to see what they do with it. I mean, obviously, somebody as big as CD Projekt Red really has the ability to kind of shape the engine as they develop the game, because if they need a feature,
they can just talk to Epic, and Epic will make that feature because they will.
Yeah, I mean, the game is so big that in effect, it is very good marketing for Epic Games as well, and for Unreal Engine. Like, look at all these tools.
They make a lot of money off of Unreal Engine nowadays, and Fortnite.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm pretty sure that some elements, such as like recently they revealed like the tech demo for The Witcher 4, and they had like the nanite vegetation and that kind of stuff. I'm almost positive that kind of stuff gets pushed forward in the pipeline because of games like The Witcher that are so big that they need the feature, and so Epic prioritizes it.
On the topic of game development a little bit, this is a bit of a side question that I recently got told. I was told by someone that making a mod for a 3D game is harder than making a point and click game from the ground up. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a very specific claim.
Yeah,
I think
it had a bit of a weird interaction.
I think it really.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the scope for both. I mean, there are mods which are easy. I mean, if by a mod, like, because you specified for 3D game.
Yeah.
So if by that you mean like something that is that contains like a 3D asset and that might need like a rig, and that might need animations. Yeah, that's a lot of work. And I mean, in theory, point and click might require less work, but then again, it depends, right? I mean, even for point and click, you might need a ton of art, and especially a ton of writing. So it depends on the scope for both.
That was a big factor for me when I was considering it, because you're going to need like a lot of renders, especially, and you're going to need to pose them.
Yeah, 100%. So it really depends. And I think, especially for point and click, you do, in my opinion, you need pretty strong narrative.
Yeah,
Like if you have good visuals and fun gameplay, you can kind of get away with just about anything for the story and the game will be fine. But if all you're doing is like, you know, looking around and clicking, you need like the setting and the narrative to be pretty tight.
So how long do you reckon it takes for you to edit a video?
Usually I kind of spread it out because, again, I do have a day job.
Yeah.
So for me, nowadays, as we kind of wait for Subnautica 2, I release about one video every 2 weeks, and there's sometimes a stream or a short in between. But what I usually do is, if it's a challenge of some sort, I will spend about a week kind of playing after I come home from work to kind of complete that challenge, and then I'll spend the second week sort of editing. Usually I will spend Monday kind of, you know, prepping everything, getting any sort of B-roll that I might need, or gathering screenshots or editing stuff. Tuesday will be for recording audio, cutting it down.
So
Wednesday is the
a lot of scheduling and planning when it comes to your editing.
Yeah, 100%. So it kind of spreads out over the period of about a week.
That's actually a really interesting approach to it. I know a lot of people who just edit till they drop.
Yeah, for me, I would like to do that, and I sometimes do that when there's a video that really needs to come out fast, like the Subnautica drama. But normally I don't like it because, again, I can't stay up till like 3 a.m. editing because I have to get up at 7 to go to work.
Yeah. Speaking of editing, what's your editing software?
I use DaVinci Resolve right now.
Ah, same. It's great.
It's a good one, and I mean, it's free, so you can get it. And I've been using, so I used Cyberlink Power Director before, but that thing, it's really expensive and it really does not offer anything that DaVinci does not out of the box. So it's just, I think it's a good one to use.
I'm just going to go revert to using Sony Vegas free trial with the watermark at this point.
It's also a good choice.
Who would you say are your top 5 YouTubers of all time?
Whew, that's a tough question.
I mean, so when I was growing up, like way back in probably, I don't know, 2014 or something, I used to watch a ton of PewDiePie. He's definitely kind of a big inspiration from back in the day. A Markiplier for sure, and Jacksepticeye for like the early Subnautica videos and a lot of the Let's Play content. And I mean, these days I watch a lot of varied content. So, you know, anything from like I like watching Linus Tech Tips for
Yeah, he's great.
for tech videos.
I like watching. Recently, I discovered this channel. Actually, I can highly recommend. I think it's called like 8K Films or something, and it's these guys who they work as guides for, you know, like going up Mount Everest and like the tallest peaks in the world, and they film like an hour-long documentary of the trip up and down. And I've just been watching those. I got kind of hooked on that for some reason.
So 8K, like the resolution, or?
Yeah. At 8K, I think in this case it refers to like the height of the mountains, right? Which is like 8 kilometers up. Yeah, but it's something like that. I can send you the link after.
Yeah, that'd be great. So, what will you do when you hit 1 million subs? And I do believe that you definitely can, especially when Subnautica 2 comes out, and you're gonna be making content. And you're gonna be making content on that. And a lot of people are gonna be flocking to your videos to watch it. So, what are your plans for if you hit 1 million subs?
I love the confidence. Thank you so much. I personally am not that confident about 1 million subs. I think already it's crazy that we've hit whatever numbers we have.
400,000?
Yeah, for around 400k right now. So I think, I mean, if I was to hit 1 million subs, I think, you know, and it's not like that magic barrier changes that much. I think it would be more so that as the subscribers kind of come in, as the views increase, I would probably at some point have to stop responding to every single comment that I get, just because it wouldn't be manageable anymore. And to be fair, I feel like if the channel was to experience such a massive growth, I would maybe consider doing YouTube full time. For now, I still like having a day job, and I think YouTube is so volatile in terms of, you know, earnings and stability.
Yeah, there's a lot of YouTubers I've seen which, like, you take a look at how many views they have, you take a look at how much of the impact they have, and you're like, really? They only have 2 million subscribers? Like, I was watching Scott the Woz recently. I was like, how the hell does he only have 2 million subscribers?
Yeah, I see it all the time. And to be fair, I sometimes see like criminally underrated YouTubers. I'll watch an amazing video and I check and the guy has like 10,000 subs. And I'm like, this guy should be at 1 million.
There's also like a weird, like a couple of my IRL friends have like, they say there's a little bit of a weird stigma against YouTubers with smaller subscriber counts. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, oh, they have a small subscriber count. I'm not sure if the content's going to be that great, you know?
Yeah, that 100% exists. I think there's probably like a barrier at which that changes. I think probably once you have maybe 100k, but I would say like, so once you have above 1 million, you're like
good for sure, right?
Oh,
Nobody's ever going to say like that's a small channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think especially if the channel is below 10,000 subs, there's a big time kind of expectation, like, yeah, you know, maybe that content is not going to be that great, because surely he would have more subs if the content was good. But obviously those people usually have no idea how difficult it is to gain even 100 subs.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm climbing my way up. I'm climbing my way up to 100 right now.
Yeah, you can definitely do it. It's just the first 100 is always going to be the hardest.
If I had a consistent schedule, maybe.
Fair.
Have you ever played VR? And what are your thoughts on VR in the gaming industry? Like, do you view it as a replacement or do you view it as a supplement?
I have played VR. I bought some of my family members a VR headset a couple of years ago for Christmas, and I've used it in videos every once in a while. And I think it is very cool. I love the technology, and I've also worked on VR games, and it's super fun.
Oh, really?
I do think it's way too cumbersome for the kind of average gamer. And I think it's a bit of a magic circle, you know, where people, the market sees that there isn't as much demand for VR games, so not as many VR games are made, and so there isn't as much demand for the headsets because there aren't many games, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I feel like locking certain experiences to VR is a bit of a detriment, and especially with some people like Facebook, they don't actually know what like VR gamers want, because I know a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, with this next VR headset, we really hope that they give us like a DisplayPort cable because of that lossless streaming, but then they just don't do that. They stick with USB-C.
Yeah, I think in general there's often a bit of a disconnect when it comes to large corporations between what the customers really want and what they think the customers want.
I still think it's criminal that Bethesda charges full price for Skyrim and Fallout 4 VR.
I agree. I think that is wild.
Yeah, it's like it's a VR add-on to your game, but you're still charging $90 for it. Like, seriously?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I always thought, like, I understand the amount of effort that goes into it, but full price is pretty wild.
Yeah, definitely. So what are your takes on generative AI in the industry?
I think when it comes to generative AI, it's a very touchy subject, right, for a lot of people. and I understand. I think it is very dangerous when it comes to stealing other people's content, and I am very heavily opposed to, you know, using that kind of generative AI which steals content without permission and then you know, just spits out something else that is then used for monetary purposes. I'm fine, and I think like it's okay to use it in a situation where, for example,
if you're
well, I was gonna say more like if you're an artist and let's say you had a model and you train it on your own art, and then, you know, you could use it to like get some quick inspirations for your next piece before you actually draw it.
or
Yeah,
whatever,
as
I
more
think
of
that's
a
fine.
as more of a supplement. I was actually in the Subnautica
Exactly.
2 Discord a few weeks ago, and they said we're using like they're using an AI behind the scenes to summarize meeting notes, but nothing in terms of like generative AI. I feel
Yeah.
AI itself should be more of a supplement. Like, use it to make Siri better, use it to make Google Home better. I think that's
100%.
lies in its best.
100%. I think there's some things that AI, and not even specifically like maybe like generative when we talk about media, but I think there are some things in which AI is good, like the kind of classic models that you see, you know, like ChatGPT or whatever. There are some things in which they are good, such as summarizing information, but I always think they should be used as a helpful tool and
Not as, you know, a way to increase numbers on a spreadsheet by firing 1,000 employees and
Oh
replacing
yeah,
them with
definitely.
that.
I heard there's like completely AI generated shows now, and I'm like, that's just evil, man.
that's pretty rough, yeah.
So I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. The creepypastas. Where did those come from? Just the random Subnautica creepypastas on the channel.
I've always loved creepypastas. I think I used to listen to them all the time when I was younger. And to be fair, I still love listening to creepy stories online. And I think at one point, I sort of stumbled onto the first Subnautica creepypasta that was written by somebody else. And so I made that first video just because I was like, I love the concept of creepypastas and I haven't seen one for Subnautica before. And nobody had really done it before first Subnautica, so I was like, okay, let's try this. And people loved it. Like, people went wild for it. And so I then figured it might be fun to try my hand at writing my own. And so that's why I wrote the You're Not Alone series. And I'm not like
A great writer or anything.
No, I love that.
But
it's been fun, and I really enjoy working on those videos. I think if I was to ever have a different YouTube channel that would not be about Subnautica, it would have to be some kind of like horror story based channel.
You know, I like the You're Not Alone ones. It plays on the like fear of being alone, obviously.
Yeah.
And with the creepypastas, I feel that there's like a very niche audience nowadays, but there's like a lot of big there's a lot of channels which read creepypastas, but there's also one channel called Creepcast. I don't know if you've heard of them. It's got Wendigoon on it, and they just read like creepypastas, and a lot of them are good. They did one called actually I should probably save this for later because I have another question about creepypastas later, but we'll just move on to the next one for now. All right. So question on computers: are you a custom PC guy or more of a pre-built guy?
So I used to be a custom PC guy. Nowadays, I'm mostly a laptop guy because I move around a lot and I have to travel a lot, you know, because I travel to see my family back home and I travel for work and that kind of stuff. And so it is just so much more convenient that I can take my work with me on the go. And I understand all the drawbacks. It is more expensive and it is less powerful. It overheats. But just the benefit of the fact that I can, like, you know, close shop, pick my stuff up, put it into a backpack.
I mean, free
and
space
then,
heater.
you know,
It is a free space heater, that too. But yeah, if I was like more settled down, definitely a custom PC.
Yeah, I had that issue as well. So I had sold my old computer and I had made a small form factor PC. I'm using an excuse to talk about this computer wherever I can. But no, I'm really proud of it. I got some good specs in it, and I put it all together, and I just take it to and from places if I'm going for places for a while. and it's great, but again, might not always be the solution. I know another solution for something a little bit more modular. It's framework PCs, framework laptops. Sorry. What they do is they give you a fully modular computer, which you can change out whenever you want it to. Like, you can change out the keyboard if you want. You change out the board with the CPU if you want. It's like, repair it yourself, add on stuff yourself, change out the ports. If you need a HDMI, you can add that on. If you need an SD reader instead, you can add that on. And another thing that they do is they have like a shell at the back for a graphics module, and it's crazy
nice.
stuff.
That's pretty awesome.
So when buying your computers, are you more of an AMD Intel guy or like an Nvidia AMD guy? What's your go-to when it comes to CPU, GPU?
Right now I'm Nvidia GPU, AMD CPU, but I would say, so I've kind of done both in the past. I like both variations, and usually, to me, it's more like I like to be kind of the cost per performance kind of guy. You know, like whatever gives me the best bang for the buck. That's kind of what I'll go with. So I'm not like Team Blue, Team Red, or Team Green. I just like whatever has the best reviews and is currently, you know, like dominating the market. That's probably what I'll go with.
Yeah, when I sold my old computer, when I was looking for the new parts, I'm like, I want to go for something good. I want to go grab an AMD CPU and GPU. I grabbed a 9070 XT. Just amazing. Just amazing value per performance, man.
It really is.
Yeah, AMD really has picked up their game with performance and ray tracing, especially the last few years.
Especially this generation, and I would say even more so since, like, in some ways Nvidia kind of dropped the
ball when it comes to gaming GPUs with the 50 series.
All their money went into AI, and then they decided to upcharge people for the graphics cards instead.
100%.
So when you used to do your own tower PCs, were you more into the full blackout look, or were you big into game RGB?
I mean, that was quite a while ago. So I was probably like in my younger teens, so probably more into RGB back then. If I was to do it again, I would go more blackout.
Yeah, I like the RGB. I got a little LCD screen on it. I can put on GIFs. It's
nice.
With the customization, it's fun. I think that's a big thing with computers. But if you were to go pure performance, there are some awesome options like Noctua. So what are your thoughts on AI upscaling and DLSS?
Yeah, it's a tricky topic. I think it's an interesting system. I think it's great for kind of the user who has an older system, and you know they're trying to run the newest games, and maybe thanks to kind of upscaling or FrameGen, they are able to run games they otherwise wouldn't be. That said, I really don't think developers should be using it as a crutch for, you know, developing a new game that should run stable on new hardware, but it doesn't without DLSS or any of this this kind of tech. So I think it's kind of a slippery slope, because it's very easy to say, you know, we don't need to spend as much on optimization, you know, NVIDIA extra frames will take care of it. But I think it is great for kind of keeping systems usable and relevant for longer.
I know for a fact that that the devs for Subnautica 2, they said they have a whole team dedicated to optimization, and they've got in the graph, like, all the footage that they're showing wasn't ray traced, and that ran on a 2060, I believe.
Wow, that's very good, and I think it's awesome. I mean, I love games that really like push the boundaries of graphics, but I think not every game should require like a 5090 to run at 60 frames. You know, I think it's great that we can have games which you can run even on older hardware.
And here's the crucial question I gotta ask: would you rather unlimited bacon and no games, or unlimited games but no games?
But no bacon, I think you mean. I would. It's a tough one, but I would pick games, I think. I mean, I love bacon. Don't get me wrong, but I grew up gaming, and I mean, I make games for a living, so that they will always be close to my heart.
So, if you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh man, probably some great scientist of some sort. I was thinking Stephen Hawking maybe. I feel like that would just be like a fascinating person to pick their brain about, you know, kind of the big questions in life maybe.
I'd pick Rasputin to wonder how he didn't die from all the poison.
That's a great question. I would love to know too.
I heard it was just the guy who killed him over exaggerating, but it's funnier to think that he was just like, yeah, this didn't affect me.
I do like the idea that he was just like, this is fine.
So what's something niche that you can yap on about for hours?
I mean, game development for sure. I don't know how niche that is, but is my job. I also love space and like random space facts. I can talk about that. I can talk about that for hours, and I will also every couple of weeks I will just go like down the Wikipedia rabbit hole and get stuck reading about obscure stuff that is probably way beyond my level of understanding of like physics and math. But
like Lawnchair Larry.
There we go. Yeah, basically.
Have you ever heard of Lawnchair Larry?
I think it's like a YouTube channel, right?
No. I'm not 100% sure if that's the name, but it's a guy who had... Hold on, let me just quickly... No, I believe that's the name. It's a guy who had attached several weather helium balloons to a lawn chair, and he had like a sandwich, a radio, and he was just gliding. He was just floating up in the sky above the clouds for like a solid few hours, and it was like a crazy thing that happened.
That's wild. Okay, I love that. I would be terrified to do that, but love the commitment.
There's a Hugbees video on it. That's really fun.
I'll take a look.
Do you listen to much music?
Yeah, a fair bit while working, usually.
I feel like sometimes when I'm doing stuff, the music kind of just gets in my way while I'm doing it, and it's like a bit of an Ouroboros. It's like, oh, listen to music to be more productive. Damn it, it's getting in your way now.
Yeah, it's a fair point. For me, it's like if I'm really trying to lock in, I have to listen to something that is only very kind of mellow in the background. I love listening to movie soundtracks, for example.
Oh,
so like
yeah.
no words and just like
a nice little melody in the background.
Yeah, I love the Across the Spider-Verse movie soundtrack. A lot of great contrasting.
that is a very good one.
I got it on vinyl, and oh god, it's just the sound quality can't be
Ooh.
beat.
Nice.
So do you prefer watching movies or shows?
Probably movies. I think with shows, I often struggle with finishing shows if they're very long. I love a good show that has maybe like, I like my favorites like one season, like 7 episodes. That I love those shows. But if as soon as it gets to like 6 seasons and like 20 episodes per season, I'll probably like never finish it.
And that's like 40-minute episodes, and you're like, oh come on,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
a movie.
yeah.
Do you have any strong feelings towards Marvel or DC Comics?
Not so much. I'm a very casual enjoyer. Like I watched probably more of Marvel because I kind of watched the sort of Avengers Infinity Stone saga, but I kind of dropped off after that.
Yeah, I was like long time Marvel fan as a kid, and now recently I'm getting more into DC. It's DC has a lot more to offer. A lot more to offer.
I did really like some of the like newer DC movies. I love the Joker, the first one. I liked the Batman. So I mean they can cook.
I really wasn't a fan of the Joker. A lot of people I talked to say they loved it. I just really wasn't a huge fan of it.
I never saw the second one.
Oh, I did. It was horrible.
So I heard.
Bad. So the name Lost Bacon, where did it come from?
It came from back when I used to play a lot of Team Fortress 2. It was my gamer tag. It was basically I wanted like a funny name that would sound funny if somebody was like yelling at me in game chat. And then I saw some guy who also had like a food related name, and so I just kind of came up with the Last Bacon, and I had that for I had that name for quite a while before starting the YouTube channel.
So we all have to thank the first beef for the name The Last Bacon.
Yeah, probably.
So when it comes to pets, do you prefer something a little bit more standard or something more exotic?
I mean, so right now I don't have any pets. When I was younger, I had some guinea pigs, which were freaking awesome. I would say, and right now my parents, they actually have some cats. I love cats as well. So probably a bit more on the standard side, but it's just more because I move around so much right now. I don't really have the capacity for a pet.
You go to the airport and like, sir, why is there a kimono dragon in your luggage?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is that a bullfrog?
He's my travel companion. Trust me, he won't eat the stewardess.
Yeah. This is my emotional support snapping turtle.
So where are you originally from?
Well, I prefer not to go into too much detail for privacy.
Oh
but,
yeah, that's fine. I was gonna. Sorry, I forgot to ask in DMs if you were okay with. Sorry about that.
It's all right. Whenever somebody asks, I just say the EU. But I've kind of I've lived all over. I mean, I lived in the US
for a year as well.
So, do you prefer cold weather or warm weather?
Probably warm weather. I mean, where I grew up, the weather is kind of like mild, so it usually doesn't get crazy cold, but doesn't get crazy hot. But I think I kind of these days I learn more. I lean more toward warm weather. When I lived in Florida, I really enjoyed my time there.
So are you afraid of bugs or spiders? Oh, well, bugs and spiders. Sorry.
Not super afraid. I mean, I can't say I like them. I definitely wouldn't want to have many crawling on me, but I'm also not like super squeamish around them. I would be very afraid of, like bugs or spiders that could hurt you if they were like venomous or something. There I would be terrified if there was like a black widow or something that could kill me.
I got a friend who is like die-hard fan for bugs. Like she has like pet spiders and everything. Vince, if you're watching this, why are you watching this? No, she loves bugs. It's crazy because I see her posting photos and it's like, here's this like half a foot, no, not half a, here's like a 5-inch spider crawling on my arm. Don't worry, he's harmless. And I'm just saying there like, oh, that's great. Run.
Yeah, that would not be me. Again, like I'm not super squeamish about spiders, but I would not want to have them crawling on me.
So what was a childhood fear of yours?
A childhood fear. So it's funny because I like Subnautica and stuff, but I've always kind of had like the fear of deep water, or also I kind of have the fear of like big sunken objects. It just kind of freaks me out. So I remember, when I was a kid, and for example, we would go. I remember this feeling of like we would go to a port, and there's like a big cruise ship or something, and I would kind of just look into the water, and you kind of see the darkness of kind of the hull of the ship going deep underwater.
You don't know it's there.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like if I fell down, I could like get seriously hurt. If that thing starts moving, I'll get crushed. It's just. Or I could like get pulled under or something. It's that would freak me out.
Also, a thing that like there's an uncertainty principle when it comes to deep sunken objects, because you're like, yeah, this could have come from like the local area. This could have come from like the local docks, or could have been damn aliens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's like, and because you can't see very well, it's usually like just like a big dark shadow underwater. It's like this could be anything.
Speaking of like sunken objects, I know that there's a lake and they made a replica of Jason Voorhees and they chained it down to the bottom of the lake as a reference to Friday Part. I think it's 6 or 7. It was before Jason Takes Manhattan, but it's like a statue of him underwater and you can swim down and see it, and it's just like, damn, that's cool.
Oh. That's awesome, but you would not catch me doing that.
So, what was the most scared you've ever been in a horror game? And if the answer is Subnautica, outside of Subnautica.
Most scared. I'm thinking. I know when I first played Alien Isolation, that game really freaked me out. It wasn't that there was like a single scariest moment, but it was more just like knowing the alien is always present and stalking you, it made me so scared to even like leave the locker and move into the next area. So my progress was super slow.
The xenomorph itself is terrifying. It's the
Oh, it is so freaky.
perfect mindless killing machine. I've had a lot of talks with friends about the xenomorph. God damn, that thing is freaky as hell.
It really is.
So what was the most scared that you've ever been in real life?
That's just a good question. I mean, it would probably, like I don't want to like ruin the mood, but it would probably be like if there was like a loved one in like a bad situation, probably scared for them, you know?
No, that's completely realistic, yeah. Yeah, it's fair.
Like luckily I mean I have to like knock on wood or something, but as far as I know at least, I haven't been in many like near death experiences.
That you know of.
Exactly.
Hey,
that I
Freddy
know of.
Fazbear could be outside your door right now. You just never know, man.
Yeah, I think I see Bonnie out there. But yeah, like when it was somebody that's close to me, then that's been really scary.
It's just mortifying when something like that can happen.
For sure.
Back to creepypasta talk. What's your favorite?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's been so long, and they all kind of at some point begin to mash together. I would have to probably say that I really, really love the classics. I really like Herobrine, just because it is such an original, like, OG creepypasta, and it's so simple, yet I remember when I was like 12 or something, I thought that stuff was super creepy. And I've always kind of loved how it just plays on the idea, and that's kind of what I based my creepypasta on as well, right? That you have a world where you expect to be alone, but you're not, and to me, that always works.
I'm trying to keep up with a lot more modern creepypastas. I like the classics. I like Jeff the Killer, but more specifically, I love Banning K's, the original author's 2015 rewrite. It's just a little bit more grounded.
Okay.
A little bit more fleshed out. I like Pastra's, how do you say it? Pastra? Yeah, Pastra's, I like Pastra's, Jeff the Killer reboot type story. It's great. It like delves into the mythos of Jeff the Killer, and it's like 5 different survivors of his attacks, and they all have different accounts of Jeff, but each of the appearances are based off of like these different ones of Jeff throughout history. And another big one is great, that is the Anansi Goatman. Love the Anansi.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's great. I highly recommend listening to it. But I think my favorite, like, I have a favorite corny one and recent one. My favorite corny one is My Best Friend Tried to Ruin My Life. But my favorite recent one, 100%, it has to be I Work at a Half-Price Voodoo Shop. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's charming, it's fun, and it doesn't irk around the scares. It's great. I really recommend giving it a read or listen.
Okay, I'll definitely note that down. I'll take a look. I would also add, I mean, I don't know if you want to count it as a creepypasta, because it kind of transcends that maybe, but I love the SCP Foundation.
I would say those can fall into creepypasta territory at some point.
Yeah.
I see a lot of the memes with 173, or what's his name, Peanut, is that what people call him?
Yeah, I feel like, okay, so yeah, I think it's gotten to the point where many of them are very memeable, because there's just so many that at some point it's like there's a pair of socks that will kill you.
There's
But,
SCP 4,800,000, and it's just a KFC burger. That's it.
Yeah, probably. And it's just like, that's it. That's just a KFC burger.
Okay. Alright, I think it is time for the lightning round.
Oh boy.
If you do not answer these questions
boy.
in quick enough time, a bolt of lightning will be sent to your house, and you will become cooked bacon.
Bet.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. Normal fries or sweet potato fries?
Normal.
Chicken or steak?
Chicken.
Would you rather be able to change your hair color or be able to go invisible?
Invisible.
Hot chocolate or coffee?
Hot chocolate.
Do you like scented candles?
Sure.
What do you do outside of YouTube for fun?
I play games. I work out. I like climbing. I scuba dive actually as well.
What would you say is your favorite holiday destination?
The Mediterranean. Anywhere.
So, trolley problem, what would you do?
Drift and take out both.
Okay, and if
Was that the wrong, was the wrong answer?
no, it's the correct answer. If you could make everyone in the world hear one thing at one time, what would you make them hear?
The Burger King Whopper Whopper song.
I do like, what's it called? Heavy TF2 sandwich.
That's also a very good one.
Now on to the more Subnautica-centric questions. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
What's the biggest downgrade from Subnautica 1 to Below Zero in your opinion?
I think the world. To me, the biggest issue is that the world of Below Zero feels smaller, more kind of surface level, and not as distinct. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think the game has many strengths and the biomes still look very cool, but yeah, it feels a lot smaller.
I actually, the Subnautica Discord would actually tend to disagree, because I know a lot of people actually prefer Subnautica Below Zero's worlds, to be honest.
I mean, I can't speak for everyone. It's but I think it's, for me, it would be world in the first place and then probably story in the second place.
I think its highs are a bit higher, but its lows are dramatically lower.
Yeah, that's a fair way to put it.
So what's one thing you'd like to see from the gaming industry going forward?
More stability. I feel like right now with the amount of like firings and the amount of cancelled projects, I would love to see kind of the ever increasing and ballooning budgets of massive games decreased. Let's rather get more smaller projects with, you know, reasonable budgets.
Something to remember is that actually a lot of the money from the budgets goes directly to the CEOs, apparently. I read an article saying that a lot of the money from game sales goes just directly to CEOs and it never gets reimbursed into new projects.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with that. I think I'm not so much in kind of the money side of game development, so I can't confirm nor deny.
I believe.
But
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm confused now.
No, you can go ahead.
I believe there was a while ago a bunch of Destiny 2 devs got laid off, like a lot of them, and they said, all right, we're not doing big DLCs anymore, we're doing small DLCs. And then a lot of the employees came out saying, yeah, the CEO who fired us, yeah, he spent all that money on like a new car collection, and he actively invited the people he was firing to come see us. So a lot of the money from that is definitely going back into the pockets of the CEO.
Oh, it 100%. I mean, it's just like with any corporation. The higher up the chain you are, the more you can kind of, you know, stuff your pockets, and the people who are actually in the trenches kind of coding that stuff, those are the ones who are going to be let go first.
Yeah, I really hope that Subnautica 2 doesn't have the issue with the new CEO. And I've heard from some of the devs in the channel, and I swear I'm not imagining these things that they're saying, but they've said that Steve hasn't changed a lot. The new CEO, Steve Papatoupas, I believe.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the best for the devs, because I mean, bottom line is they're the ones making the game.
The bottom line is that the leadership hasn't changed, and apparently he hasn't been interfering. And another studio that was acquired by Krafton said that, yeah, we went through a similar thing, but like nothing happened to us. So
Okay. Yeah, I think it remains to be seen, but it would be great if it didn't change.
yeah. What is your favorite current Subnautica mod?
Ooh, that's a tough question. It's hard to pick my favorite. I think because there's so many cool mods. I've always absolutely loved. I love simple mods, right? I love all the big projects. Return of the Ancient, Silence, you know, the Red Plague. Those are all incredible.
I've got a funny story from the Silence. I was using this one mod that gives you like an insanely fast submarine with like guns on it, and I was like, oh, there's a ping 4,000 meters in the void, let's go to it. And I went to it and I was like,
Yep.
oh, there's nothing here. So I headed back and it's like, warning, there's a, like, the Silence is approaching. I'm like, what the fuck you mean? All the sound cut out and it just appeared in front of me, and I was like, run, goddamn it. And I just was like, no, I give up, and I shut down the game immediately.
Yeah, that mod is like a free visit to the cardiologist. It is awesome.
Yeah, I also, I like the Red Plague, but not for the reasons people actually expect. I love the Sky Island because it's so dumb. I built my base up there, and just building a base up in the Sky Island, it's like, that's just fun, dude. Just like, I don't know how to explain.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of why I like the Red Plague as well. I don't. It's not that I think it's like the scariest mod ever or something. To me, it's more just like a very cool show of sort of ambition. It shows you all the stuff that can be done with the modding tools within Unity.
Red Plague Act 2 is going to give us a gun, and they're going to give us just a bunch of voice lines like Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil.
I am very excited. I will be covering it soon as I'm back from holidays.
Oh, did they give you another thing?
They may or may not have. Can't confirm nor deny.
Very interesting. What is your favorite design in both Subnautica games?
I think there's so many good designs, but I probably have to go with the Peeper. It is so iconic.
It is.
Goat. Yes.
It really is the GOAT, and I think it's so recognizable that even people who haven't played Subnautica and they've just heard about it or something, you show them that big, yellow-eyed fish, and they will probably recognize where it's from.
I think with the paper, I prefer like the Arctic paper. I like the blue a lot more. I think it's just a lot more media as a fish. It's my YouTube profile picture. It's my current thing for the interview right now. But me personally, in terms of designs, I like something a little bit more out there. Like something like translucency is a big thing. So that being said, hoverfish. I like.
Hell yeah.
I like the little transparent little fins it has. Like, it's like
Hoverfish are awesome. Yeah.
thin layer.
And for me, in the second place, it probably have to be the Reaper Leviathan. I think that thing is just like it was like a stroke of genius.
I actually heard from one of the devs that they were planning to do something different with the Reaper's horn, but like, not too sure. I forgot what it was, but I'll see if I can find a screenshot. Hi everyone, wait us in the editing chair here. It turns out it wasn't supposed to be something different with the horn. One of the devs just wanted to give them Christmas hats at Christmas time. Damn it! But I think a little change to the Reaper to actually make it scary is that the mandibles, I think they should move independently instead of all together, because that level of uncoordination just gives off like a weird level of horror.
Yeah, a bit like the Chelicerates from.
Oh, I
Zero.
love the Chelicerate. No, I forgot that thing. The Chelicerate. I love it because like the red plating, the mandible. It's just.
Yeah. And when they charge, they move the mandibles
Oh
independently.
my
I
God,
mean,
it's
it does look
amazing.
very creepy.
Yeah, I recently have tried to put in a bit more hours into Below Zero to try and like fall in love with it again, and I built my base around the deep vent gardens, like where the vent garden creatures are, and it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
cool. It's a big risk reward. I got this big ass Chelicerate, but I got this amazing view.
Yeah, that's true. There, one of the red shrimps is there, but it is a gorgeous area.
What is your favorite sound design in the game?
I think the Reaper roar is iconic, but I also really love the Sea Dragon roar. I think it's beautiful, and I mean the soundtrack in general is incredible. But I also I have a love-hate relationship with the Crashfish charge sound. I think it's awesome it's incredible in the sense of how much it can trigger my PTSD just like hearing it. But yeah, I also hate it at the same time.
For me, I'm gonna cheat and say the Sea Emperor.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I like the little chirps that the babies make. It's cute.
Oh, this is so adorable.
Would you prefer it if Below Zero kept its original storyline? Because I believe the reason it was changed was because of fan backlash.
I think the opening was very strong.
I think
Oh,
on
yeah.
the original story.
100%.
I think it's kind of hard to say, right? Because since we never saw the original story fully realized, it's kind of hard to say if as a whole it would have worked better. I will say that I think the current story is on the weaker side. But I'm not sure if the original would have been better. I will say that I think the original opening was stronger.
Yeah. I do know that with the voice actors, I actually preferred Robin's original voice actor. I feel like it was a lot more in tune. But it's whatever. I do know Subnautica 2 is getting the rider for one of Destiny's best DLCs, actually. I think
Oh wow.
Taken King and Forsaken, which two of the most impactful DLCs. So
Yeah, that's a good portfolio.
yeah, going forward, that's great. So I'm gonna move on to Subnautica 2 questions, and I want to preface this by saying I'm not gonna ask you about the business side of stuff or the drama, but you're free to share your thoughts whenever you want. So,
Okay.
okay, so how do you feel about the survival knife not returning?
I think, I mean, I guess I kind of understand it. I think to me it depends on the context, right? If the reason for removing it is kind of because they didn't like, yeah, I mean, if they, I can understand that they don't want people like, you know, stasis rifling a fish and slashing it 500 times to kill it. At the same time, I think that it was kind of a cool thing to do. So I don't know. To me, it remains to be seen. I'll have to play the game and see how it feels.
Recall correctly, they want coexistence, not domination over the wildlife, I believe.
Like I said, I think to me, I will have to play it and see it. I think I can understand. For example, in horror games, you know, you often don't get any weapons because it makes you feel more powerless. So we'll have to see how it kind of.
Even with weapons, you can feel powerless. Resident Evil 1, I recently played that. I have never felt more terrified than a single zombie rushing me down. And I partially blame the controls and the tank controls. Those suck. They've also stated they don't want any more killable Leviathans in the game. Do you think that'll be a big thing?
It's interesting. I mean, I can understand on one hand why they don't want it, but on the other, I also feel like it has always been kind of a cool achievement when you manage to kill one. So, hard to say. I hope that they can kind of still find a way to give players that sense of achievement in something else.
Yeah, definitely. Now the Sea Glide, it's not returning. What do you think about the Wake Makers, however? The little gaunt.
I think yeah, I think they look super cool. On like at least in screenshots and video, I think they look awesome. We'll have to see how they control and how they feel to play with, but in terms of just visuals, it's dope.
I think they're 1-to-1, I believe, but I'm not too sure. What are your thoughts on the little sea slugs that we see in the promo images?
Which ones were that? I mean,
I believe. Hold on.
I've probably seen all of the images, but I'm not sure which of those things is even the slug.
It's on the birthday post, I believe. The end of.
Hang on, let me see if I can pull that up. Do they have it on the official Steam page?
I am not too sure, but I will be sending you a photo right now.
Okay.
So these guys, yeah.
That's adorable. I love the little birthday hat.
I was talking to one of the devs, Artie, and he said he wanted to add a Easter egg where 3 of the sea slugs were playing poker, like the dogs with poker painting.
That's awesome. I really hope. Yeah, I hope we get some good Easter eggs in Subnautica 2.
Also, how do you feel about the giant half moon that we see in the trailer? Do you think it's just perspective, or do you think it's like an actual big half moon?
I've honestly no idea. I think it looks super cool, and I cannot wait to learn about the new planet. But it could also just be perspective. I mean, we all know that the first-person camera in the games does change how things look quite a lot.
Yeah, it's a big perspective issue. They said they're trying to rectify it for Subnautica 2.
That's interesting. I'm not sure how they'll be able to do that.
Do you like the new square bases, or do you think we should return to circles?
I think both are okay. I am honestly, in some ways, maybe my OCD will like the square bases a bit more since they can kind of stack up nicer. I remember something that would always grind my gears is how when you put one foundation down,
you can't put like the multi-purpose room in the middle. You have to put it.
Oh
on
yeah,
the
that
corners.
was annoying. I believe they've.
And that
moved
is just
from,
like.
I believe they're changing from 4x4 grids into 16x16 grids now.
Okay. Yeah, it'd probably give you a lot more control. So I think that's probably a good change.
So apparently we will not be getting a big submarine until near the end of early access. Do you think this will impact the game in any negative way due to the lack of time to make long-term changes?
It's very hard to say. I think early access in general it can be a great tool when utilized well, but you do have to be careful about the fact that if you are not, consistently providing enough new content, people will drop off, and then you could kind of
They've said that they wanted
Sorry, go
to
ahead.
that the early access delay was actually due to the fact that they wanted to add more content to get more feedback on. A lot of people
Mhm.
saying that like, oh no, they shouldn't do that because we should just get the feedback right now. But I think, like, you could say it's because of the money stuff. You could say because it's the lawsuit. I would like to put my faith in the devs and say, yeah, they just want more feedback on stuff. Because imagine we go in and there's only like 5 things. I'd rather us go in with 20 things to give feedback on, to be honest.
Yeah, if a developer says they need more time to make the game better, I'm never going to be mad at that, because I think
It's
Because
perfectly
you know what it'd be
reasonable.
like.
exactly. I've been there so many times, and like you think you can kind of make things happen, but then problems pop up, and then there's a delay, and you need more time. So that's totally fine. I understand why people want to get their hands on it, but I personally, in this, like when it comes to games, I'm always on the patient side. Where it's like, take as much time as you need, cook it to wherever the devs are happy with it, and then give it to us.
This one isn't on my list, but I have to ask because you're a game dev who works in UE5. Have you applied to work at Unknown Worlds?
I actually did, but this was way back. This is when I was just finishing in school, and I did originally apply. I think they had like it was a junior level designer position back then, but that was just after I had finished my bachelor's, and I was also, back then I probably wasn't quite qualified for the position. I haven't applied to them since. It would be quite interesting if that was like the ultimate culmination of the YouTube channel where I just end up working for them.
Apply, become another social media manager like Donya.
That'd be pretty funny.
Speaking of Unknown Worlds, are you in contact with them like some other YouTubers?
Yeah, I'm probably... there's definitely YouTubers who are in more contact than me.
He is pretty in contact with them.
I think so. I think both him and probably Anthomnia, because they're working on the mods and they're talking to a lot of the devs. So I think he definitely is. And I've talked to a bunch of the devs. I've also spoken to some people on the crafting side. But it's not like we, correspond every other week.
Yeah. So what do you think about the Tadpole submarine and the Scout Ray wigs that we saw in the trailer? Because I believe Scout Ray is the name that Anthony gave, the lead designer.
Okay. I think the submarine looks super cool. I'm curious to see how exactly it works and how it feels to control. Because I've been chasing the high of the Seamoth for so long, so hopefully it's kind of similar.
I believe the wings are there to give you a speed boost, I believe. I'm glad it's like actual physical attachments instead of the magical little slot-in chip that we have.
Yeah, I like that too. I think it's actually super nice from an affordance standpoint as well for the player to like have tangible upgrades that you can see and visualize for stuff. That's amazing.
So to quote the devs, the Tentacle Leviathan, or the Collector as some people call it, will be the only Leviathan for a while. And I'm not 100% sure on this, but they say that due to how much work is going to the animations, that this will be the only Leviathan for I'm repeating myself, sorry. Let's start from the beginning of the question. So the devs have said the Tentacle Leviathan will be the only Leviathan for a while. Do you think it's good that they're putting this much work into the animations for it? Because they've said that the reason why is because of how much work is being put into the interactivity and the animations.
Yeah, I think it's good that they're putting a lot of work into it. I can kind of understand why people would want more. I think to a certain extent, I like the kind of quality over quantity approach. Maybe I think they could push out as many large fish as they want. But to kind of, recapture that feeling of something big that really dominates the ocean and scares you, I think it's fine if they really take their time to polish it up. And if we kind of have to wait a bit longer for the next ones, I think that's okay.
Do you think it's better Subnautica 2 is trying to be more like Subnautica 1?
Like the original. I think it's good to take the good parts. I would try to discard the bad parts or the weaker parts, let's say. And I also think it's very important for them to innovate. I think if they kind of just like remake the first game with updated graphics on a new planet, it's not gonna hit all that hard. So I'm really happy to see that they're also innovating and adding new stuff.
In the style, they want it to be like the same amount, like level of exploration that we've been getting, and like the same feeling.
I think that's perfect. Yeah, I think it's really good to try to evoke that same feeling, but I also love that they're trying to kind of innovate and improve.
Do you think the devs will live up to the promise of something as cool or cooler than the prawn suit that they've been making on the Discord?
I believe in them. I'd let them cook. The prawn suit is super cool, but if they believe...
I've heard a lot of concepts for a crab mech, which sounds like a Metal
crab
Gear.
mech.
It does sound like a Metal Gear. Look, if they say they can do it, let's see it. This is what I'd say.
Do you like the departure in style the sequel is taking from Subnautica 1 and Below Zero? Kind of considering that, take into account that Below Zero was never really a true sequel and it wasn't trying to stretch the boundaries like Subnautica 1 did.
Departure in style, do you mean kind of visually or?
I think visually and gameplay-wise from what we've seen so far, because we have a little hammer instead of like a survival knife instead, and just well, visually mainly, yeah, I'd say.
I think it's, I mean, some of it kind of comes almost necessarily with, I suppose, not only switching to a new engine, because I mean, you could kind of achieve the same visual style in both Unity and Unreal, but I think it's good they're innovating for kind of next gen. And to be fair, I always think that a sequel should try to innovate, because otherwise you're just recoloring what you already have, and then the franchise will become stagnant. So I think it's actually just fine, and I can't wait to get my hands on it and see how well it kind of works together.
And the final question that we have for our time here, what do you think of the deep start in Subnautica 2?
I think it's a really, really cool idea. I know, I mean, people have made that into challenges with the first Subnautica, right? Where you kind of start deep and you have to get up to the surface. Absolutely love the idea. I know many people have done that as challenges for the first game, where they start deeper and then they try to get further up. And I think it puts a really, really nice spin on the formula, because we're so used to in Subnautica, starting safe and then slowly inching deeper and deeper.
Yeah, like we
And
got the
flipping that on
MacGuffins.
its head.
Yeah, I think flipping that on its head is a really smart move.
I was scouring the devlog videos, and I 100% believe that I have zero idea what's going on. But I have a theory. So we're gonna start deep, obviously, but then I saw concept art for these geysers that were like, yeah, fish go in them and then they get shot up to like a higher area. So I think that we're gonna be shot up with that higher area. But then I also saw in another devlog that there were they're like these exit geysers as well. So I'm like, okay, so I think we're gonna start deep, travel through one of the geysers, come out the top, and then it also shows in one of the devlogs a starting area, and that starting area has like a reveal, like they planned, like if you swim left, big reveal. If you swim right, big reveal. On the top of this mountain, abandoned base. So I do think that Deep Star will provide a lot for everything, and the trailer definitely lends into the theory that we'll get that Deep Star.
I'm super excited to see it.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time, and again, thank you for re-recording this. God damn, I hope the hard drive doesn't corrupt this time, but I'm recording it off of an SSD this time. But thank you again for your time, and I really do hope that you have a good day, and thank you again for taking some time out of your day for all this.
Absolutely. Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you so much for having me.
one thing that you'd like to say to your fans before this ends, what would you like to say?
I would just say thank you for the incredible support. It has been absolutely unreal for all these years, and I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and I cannot wait to see where we go in the future with the channel, with the videos, and with the next Subnautica game.
That's really great. Thank you so much for being like so welcoming to the community. A lot of YouTubers,
Absolutely.
a lot of YouTubers just flat out don't acknowledge the community, so it's great having a YouTuber who's so in touch.
Yeah, I think they're really missing out. To me, that's always been the best part of YouTube.
Right, and thank you all for watching this video. I hope you guys watch all my other videos back to back to back. Can we please Ubot those videos? I need to pay off a parking ticket. But thank you for watching, and I hope next time we have another interview, we have an interview with the flesh-eating amoeba in my basement. Seriously, he's been asking to get on my channel. I gotta give him something. He won't leave me alone. Hi everyone again, it's me, Weedus. Thank you all so much for watching this video. It's finally here after delays and issues editing and corrupted hard drives. I finally got it out. I have promised this video to a lot of people, and it finally being released is really big for me. This is, I want to think, is a new step for my channel, and I do hope I get to interview more content creators like game makers and more YouTubers. I said to my friends, the reason I want to do this is because I want to basically bridge this community, this divide, sorry, between the content creators and the viewers, the subscribers, the people who play the games or do whatever. And I think the best way to do that is by interviewing and getting a good look at their content creation and their creative process. So by doing that, I am giving the community a better look into the creator, and I'm letting the creator give the community some level of reassurance, I guess. But it means the world to me that someone as big and as creative as The Last Bacon could join me today. But thank you all so much for watching, and I really do hope everyone has a good day. And special thanks to a bunch of people who've been there for me. I want to thank my friend Pam Purki. I still don't know how to fully pronounce the name, for helping me with encouragement to actually edit this video. And I also want to thank, I believe his name is Serby on the Subnautica Discord, for helping me find all the correct quotes and everything. Again, big thanks to Last Bacon for actually being here. And I also want to thank any of my other friends who I've talked to who have helped me with encouragement for all this and have kept me, I guess, entertained by talking to me while editing. So thank you all so much, and I hope everyone has an amazing day, night, or whatever. That flesh-eating amoeba interview is real, by the way. He's coming to the show. You can't stop him.